Hello and welcome to Talk Wargaming. In this video I'll be showing you how you can paint the US Infantrymen from Bolt Action using the Army Painter's range of paints. So I've started painting the miniature by priming it with the Army Painter's Army Green spray primer, and the reason why I've gone for this colour is because the jacket and the helmet will both be this colour. It just makes painting a lot easier later on down the line. Now the first paint that we're going to be using is on the trousers, and we're using Monster Brown. So now that I've painted the trousers and also the undershirt as well with Monster Brown, and I'll be painting the gaiters with Necrotic Flesh. With the gaiters complete, its next step is to paint the boots and also the leather strap on the back of the helmet there with Leather Brown. We'll now be starting to work on the webbing, the pouches and also the backpack, and for this we'll be using Desert Yellow. So now that the backpack, the pouches and the webbing is complete, I'll now be painting the skin with Tan Flesh. So we'll now be moving on to painting the rifle, and for the wood areas on the weapon we'll be painting these with Fur Brown. So just before we move on to the washes, I'll now be painting the hilt of the dagger on the backpack there with Oak Brown. So now that the base coats have been applied, we're now going to be washing over the jacket, rifle, trousers and the boots with Strong Tone ink wash. So the next wash to apply is to the webbing, the pouches and the backpack, and also the gaiters as well, and for this we'll be using Soft Tone ink wash. The next wash that I'll be applying will be to the helmet, and this will be Green Tone ink. The final wash before we move on to the highlights will be Flesh Wash, and we're applying this over the skin areas. So now that all of the washes have been completed, I'll be starting the highlights. And the first thing to highlight are the trousers, and we'll be doing a mix of Monster Brown with a small amount of skeleton bone mixed in, and we're doing just thin highlights along the folds of the trousers. So next I'll be highlighting the gaiters with Necrotic Flesh. We will now be highlighting the boots with a small amount of Fur Brown. So next up we'll be highlighting the edges of the jacket, and for this we'll be using army green with a small amount of skeleton bone mixed in. I'll now be highlighting the bags, pouches and the backpack with skeleton bone. So I'll now be highlighting the rifle with tanned flesh. So next I'll be highlighting the skin using Barbarian flesh. So now that we've finished with the highlights, we'll now be moving on to painting the metal area. So we'll be using gunmetal to paint the metal workings on the rifle, and also along the edge of the helmet to represent where the paint's been chipped off. So the final step is to wash over all of the metal areas with dark tone ink. And here we have the completed miniature. As you can see, I've also painted the base and added some static grass. Now, whilst in this tutorial I painted the jacket in a darker green, you could actually opt for the lighter green colour by following the steps that I used to paint the gaiters. If there are any more bolt action tutorials you would like to see, let me know in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.